Today I'm going to show you how to make a fun Picasso style face. Now, Picasso was an artist that many people look at his artwork and think, wow, that guy really can't draw, because he has things that are all over the place on his portraits. Here's an example of a Picasso portrait that I have with me here, and Picasso often liked to make his faces have different viewpoints. But instead of making two different pictures and making one have the profile view, which means looking off to the side, and one have a front view where the person is looking directly at you, Picasso wanted to show both points of view in the same picture. So he thought, well, maybe you would still remember what the person looked like, and then as they moved, draw that on the same picture. So I'm going to show you a fun way to do a Picasso style picture that shows multiple viewpoints. So we're going to make one person look like they're looking off to the side, and then the other half can be looking like it's directly at you. And they can look like they're the same person, or we can have fun with it and be creative and make it look like they're two people combined. So the first thing that we're going to do is get our black paper and a white pastel, and I'm going to draw any kind of a face. This face can be a shape like a circle or a square or a diamond, or it can be just more of an organic shape, any kind of a shape you want. But just make it so that it's at least half the size of your paper, so that it's big enough that you can draw your details inside. After you have your shape, you're going to be making one side a profile view. That means it's looking off to the side. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to draw down almost halfway, like that. And then I'm going to make a nose. You can make your nose any kind of nose you want. It might be a turned up nose, it might be a little tiny nose, a great big nose, a turned down nose, just whatever kind of nose you decide that you would like to make. Alright. Under the nose, we need the upper lip, so we'll come down just a little bit. And then I'm going to make a mouth. You could have a smiling person, you could have a yelling person, or a frowning person. You decide what kind of a mouth you want, and come back underneath the line above it. And now we're going to make the chin go the whole way down to the bottom, like that. We're going to make a neck, and again, this neck does not have to look realistic. The whole purpose of this is to have fun, be creative. So you might have a really fat neck, you might have a really short one, or a really long one. You decide, and I'm going to go all the way out to the edge of my paper, or you could go all the way down to the bottom of your paper. But go out until you hit an edge. Now I'm going to make an eye. Again, we can have our eye be any shape we want. Does not have to look like a realistic eye. We're going to just represent an eye with a shape. It does not have to be realistic. So there's my eye. If you want an eyebrow, you can put one in. You don't have to put one in. You can if you want to. If you want details like maybe a little mustache or a little beard or something later, you can always put that in. So if I cover up this side, it looks like someone's looking off to the side. I have my profile view. And now I want it to look like if I cover this side, this person's looking directly at me. So I'm going to make some sort of shape for this eye as well. Maybe an eyebrow. And maybe this person is sad. Put tears on this person. Picasso often put a lot of emotion into his drawings as well. I need an ear, so we can add ears. They don't have to be in the right place. They are just shapes that represent an ear. So you can see I purposely put them in different spots. Once you have your ears, you can think about what kind of hairstyle you want. Give him really crazy hair. Some people like to do half female and then half male on the other side, that's fine too, whatever. This is your portrait, you make it the way you want it. If you want, you can add jewelry, you can add beards, you can add some details. Don't worry about coloring anything in at this point though. Now what I'm going to do is add some sort of interesting outfit. So I'm just going to make some lines. Don't copy mine. Come up with your own unique idea. Remember, what you draw though, you have to color in later. So, just like to break up my space so that I can have lots of different colors. Alright, so once your portrait is completely drawn, the next step would be to start to add color to it. In this step, I'm going to show you how to start adding color to your portrait. I want to make it a little bit more apparent that this side of the face is profile and this one is looking directly at you. And the way I can emphasize the fact that it's looking in two different directions would be to make it two different colors. So I'm going to take my pastel and I'm going to choose a color that's different from the pastel that I drew the face with. So I drew with white, so I'm going to use something other than white. And I'm going to color in half of the face. I'm going to be careful that I go around anything that I drew. I don't want to just color right over top of everything. I want to go around it. Alright, so I will continue to do that till I finish that whole side of the face. Now I have one that's a little further along, right here. Alright, so for this one, I've already colored in this side of the face, and this other side of the face you want to make a different color. And that way you're emphasizing the fact that the face is definitely looking in two different directions. And we also want to color in anything like ears or jewelry. We also want to color in the hair. We want to color in the outfit, and I'm in the process of doing that right now. So make my ear right there. There is a black pastel, so this is supposed to look like a painting. So if you want to leave anything black, since it's supposed to look like a painting, let's use the black pastel to color in any black areas. I'm still being very careful to go around my lines. When you want to do the background, pay attention to the colors that you've already used. For instance, if I would use red for the background, since I have the red hair here, I know there's a white line separating it, but still, the red in the hair and the red in the background would just blend too much together, and my portrait wouldn't stand out as much as I would like it to. So try not to use colors in the background that you have used in the portrait right next to the background. So for instance, I could use orange. I used orange here. Just because I used orange or just because I used blue doesn't mean I can't use it in the background. Just don't use a background color right next to the same color. So I've used blue here, but I can still use it here because it's not red. I would not want to use red over here. So for my background, try to stick to one color in your background, or maybe two colors, but don't use more than that, because once you start to use a whole lot of different colors in the background, then your portrait just doesn't show up very well anymore. We want the emphasis to be on the face and the portrait, and not so much on a very confusing background. So, as you can see, the blue is really starting to make that red pop, make it show up better. Now I would go ahead and finish this whole thing. Let's say though that I did blue for the hair over here, and I started blue over here, and I get to here and I say, oh no, I don't want that the same color as my background. If you would like, you could go halfway over with the one color, and then if this hair was blue, then if I wanted to, I could take the red and I could do this half red. So over here it would be red with a blue background, over here it would be blue with a red background, or any other color that isn't blue on this side would be fine too. But a lot of people like to just do the opposites with the hair and the background. So just something to think about, something to consider. One other option you have is, instead of leaving all of the lines white, you could turn them to black by tracing over them with a black pastel. So I'm just tracing over all of my white lines with the black pastel and turning them black, and that also will really make your portrait pop. The reason I didn't have you do that right off the bat is because if you drew your picture with the black and then later you tried to go back over and color next to the black, it's very easy to just pull that black into your color, and it really does not look good that way. So I like to save this step for the very, very end. Make tracing black lines be the very last thing that you do. Don't get in a hurry and try to do it before you are completely done. So as you can see, I'm just turning all my white lines into black lines. It looks good either way. You could leave them white, just retrace them all in white, or a tan or peach color if that's what you use, any light color that you started out with, or you can turn them black. So you can see what that looks like. Just finish this side of the face so you can compare the two. Alright, so you can see what the black lines look like, and you can see what the white lines look like. So it's just really a matter of preference, whether you want them to be black or whether you want them to be white. So now it's your turn. You can make up your own funny face. You can color it, whatever colors that appeal to you, and have fun being Picasso yourself.